You are Locked On Phillies Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi, welcome to the show. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is Locked On Sports Philadelphia and the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, your Locked On Phillies Postcast. This particular episode is brought to you by none other than Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use promo code, all lowercase, LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. And yes, thank you for making Locked On Phillies Postcast your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I don't know how they do it, but it seems impossible to all of a sudden crack the Reynaldo Lopez code. He's kryptonite. He is kryptonite. And look, he's been great all year for the Braves. When he's healthy, he dominates and he baffles every lineup he faces. It's incredible. It's amazing. It's impressive. I admire it as a baseball fan, but as a Phillies fan, I hate it. I hate every second of it. Kyle Schwarber is completely lost against this guy. Trey Turner, completely lost against this guy. I'm watching this entire lineup just flail away and away and away. And look, I don't expect Johan. Like, it was malpractice to send Johan Rojas to the plate against Reynaldo Lopez in this particular game. Of all the games, you're like, hey, Johan, hey, you're going to get the start center field today. We're not going to have Austin Hayes out there. Yeah, you're going to go up against Reynaldo Lopez. Do you think Johan Rojas was like, really? Really? Is this even fair? You're really going to make really interesting. Thanks for the fair shake there, Phillies. But man, it is awful how much of a rookie Kyle Schwarber looks, what he looks like against Reynaldo Lopez. It is just, yes, obviously it's impressive if you're just watching it from a baseball standpoint, but it's nerve-wracking and frustrating as all get out to watch Kyle Schwarber struggle the way he has in total. I mean, we'll get into the numbers with Reynaldo Lopez, but it's bad. Also, Ranger Suarez, we good, dude? Are you all right? Because I hate when people look at a professional athlete's injury and they're like, I had that injury and this is what I did. I'm like, oh yeah, were you a professional athlete? Really? No. But the one thing that I will always stand by, no matter what, if you have ever had a back issue ever in your life, that thing doesn't go away. And Ranger Suarez having back spasms and having to miss over a month, 32 days with a back issue, and he comes back, has a good start, and then in his next one, he's terrible, then yeah, that's a little bit of an issue. And here's what was so crazy about it. Obviously, he strikes out the first 5 batters he faces. He retires the first 6 batters that he faces. He is just absolutely going out there and dominating. And then he faces Arcia in the top of the 3rd inning. Home run. Just like that. Boom. Just boom. Home run. 408 feet. First of 2 home runs for Orlando Arcia in the ball game today. But I'm watching Ranger Suarez, and I am concerned. 4 innings, 78 pitches. I have my worries. And then, of course, the Phillies offense, as much as you could tip your cap to Reynaldo Lopez, Phillies offense didn't do themselves any favors really in this game either. And we'll get into it all. And let's get into it right now, as we always do, with 3 big things. Number 1, the runners in scoring position, 0 for 5. They were 0 for 6, as I pointed out last night, going into the 5th inning before they really broke out. Going into the 6th inning before really breaking out. All right. And then tonight, 0 for 5 in total, leaving 7 men on base. There was one real opportunity that the Phillies had to actually make some noise in this game, and they ended up falling short. JT Realmuto in the 7th inning led off with a home run to left field on a 2-1 curveball that just hung up there, and he put it 385 feet over the wall and left against Johnson. At this point, you already have Reynaldo Lopez out of the game. You're going up against their bullpen. Marsh works a walk on 8 pitches, full count, works the walk. Sosa, unfortunately, fouls out. Rojas tries to lay down a bunt that hits him, ends up striking out on the curveball, and then you have Schwarber coming up, and he strikes out on a 3-2 curveball. This is the most impressive thing about Johnson coming out there. And look, I sang the praises of Reynaldo Lopez, and I'll sing them more as the show goes on. But I'm watching Schwarber go up there, and I don't know if it was just residual effect of being so lost that he couldn't recalculate and get back on track at all in this game. But I'm watching him go up against Johnson. He gets a first pitch fastball and then 6 straight curveballs. Even when it was a 3-1 count, he threw a curveball. Schwarber took it. Then he threw him a 3-2 curveball. I believe he fouled it away. And then another curveball, and Kyle Schwarber swung under it. Usually a ball that you could pretty much depend on Kyle Schwarber to belt out of the ballpark at great exit velocity, even on a curveball, and he fails to do it. And he strikes out, and he goes down. Despite the fact you had already let off with the run, with a home run by JT Realmuto, and you had Brandon Marsh on base with nobody out. It felt like if something was going to crack through at that moment, it was going to be, or in this game, it was going to be in that 7th inning. If you had another comeback somewhere in you, it was going to happen in that inning. Even earlier in the ball game, again, the Phillies offense tried to get something going in the 4th inning after a 2-run top of the 4th inning by the Braves on Ranger Suarez. Bryson Stott, again, another leadoff home run. This was the first leadoff home run of the inning for the Phillies, the 4th inning, and then Realmuto led off the 7th inning, but Stott gets the 2-0 slider down and in, and he just tears the bat head through and rips it down the right field line for a home run. That made it a 4-1 game. You're thinking, all right, 3 runs, nothing you haven't done before. The pitch count's up there on Reynaldo Lopez. You seem to be really working him in the count. Let's get it going here. Let's get something going here. And the Phillies fell short. Obviously, after that, Realmuto grounded out to 3rd, Marsh grounded out to 1st, and then Edmundo Sosa lined out to center field. This, like, anytime you thought the Phillies might get something going, they fell short. So the Phillies offense, number 3 for me. Number 2, there is no cracking of the code with Reynaldo Lopez. And this is not a Braves post-game show. This is a Phillies post-game show. This is not a Braves postcast. This is a Phillies postcast. But holy Stromboli, 11 innings, 2 runs, 16 strikeouts, 9 hits. That's what Reynaldo Lopez has done to the Phillies over his last 11 innings, dating back to August 20th, 10 days ago. He has held the Phillies to 2 runs over 11 innings of work. He has struck out 16 batters. He's only walked 2. And in total, 9 hits even seems high. That seems like a high number. Kyle Schwarber is the guy I look at more than anything when it comes to this matchup, because Kyle Schwarber has such a great eye and he has such a great approach to the plate. I mean, you're talking about a guy who will, hit 250, 240, 250, 200 last year, and he'll still be amongst the leader in walks. He's got a keen eye, man. Keen eye. First at bat of the game for him, strikes out on 4 pitches, flailed away at a curveball away. Good times. Trey Turner comes up next, sees 4 fastballs, can't time any of them. He goes down. Bryce Harper gets a double. Attaboy, Bryce. Attaboy, Harper, in an adulating way, of adulation, not as sarcastic. But that's a whole other story. Then Castellanos walks on 5 pitches, then Stott goes up there and grounds out on a comeback to Reynaldo Lopez in the 1st inning. 3rd inning, Schwarber's up there again. He pops out to 3rd. Trey Turner swings and misses, flails away, goes fishing at a slider. I think I'll be generous and say it was only 5 feet out of the zone. But he swung at it. He goes down. This tells me when I see guys, especially like Kyle Schwarber, that are so well-disciplined, flailing away at pitches that are low and away, drastically low and away, like not too close to take type pitches, just low and away. That concerns me about ever being able to go up against Reynaldo Lopez and have results, because you could still very well face this Braves team in the postseason, and Reynaldo Lopez apparently is a cheat code to the Philadelphia Phillies offense. Game goes on. You go into that 5th inning. Rojas strikes out on a slider from Lopez. Schwarber strikes out again against Lopez for the 2nd time in the game. He's looking at a 2. This is the other thing. 2-2 fastball. Just above the knees, slightly on the outer half of the plate. Not the outside corner, but the outer half of the plate. Schwarber just watches it go by and is like, all right, that was fun. Sits back down. When do you see this with Kyle Schwarber, other than when you see him with such consistency? When do you see another pitcher dominate him like this the way Reynaldo Lopez has? So Lopez, I got to tip my cap to you. Good job. I hate it, but he did his thing. Number 1. Ranger Suarez tonight. 4 innings of work, 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 home runs, 6 strikeouts. 5 of them coming on the first 5 batters he faced in the ballgame. He looked incredible. But 4 innings, 78 pitches, he's donezo. He's pulled. Ladies and gentlemen, I was checking throughout the night, after the 4th inning, the 5th inning, 6th inning, I was checking throughout. Anything with Ranger Suarez? Is Ranger okay? Looking at baseball writers, I see nothing. I know nothing. There is no one reporting anything about any injury to Ranger Suarez or whether or not he is banged up, whether or not the back was acting up or anything like that. I will keep my eyes peeled throughout the postcast to see if anything does come up regarding Ranger Suarez and where he is at health-wise. I would doubt that in a 4-1 ball game, the Phillies would just say, "Hey, you know what? Forget about it. We don't need him to pitch. We don't need him to come out. It's fine." 3-run ball game, 4-1 at the time. Pulling Ranger. And the other thing that was scary was, according to the broadcast crew, because you didn't really see the bullpen, they had Jose Ruiz up abruptly. But I believe there was 2 outs in the inning, in the bottom of the 4th inning. And they're like, is Ranger coming out? What's Ranger doing? Is Ranger coming out? What's going on? And then all of a sudden, Jose Ruiz was up. The next thing you know, Jose Ruiz was pitching. So I have my concerns about Ranger. You already have one injury that you don't want to have to deal with right now in Alec Boehm. It's precautionary. They're taking him out. They took him out of the lineup tonight. He sat out tonight. Might have been available to pinch hit. Hopefully, it doesn't look like it's anything serious. Just had some, I think it was inflammation was the word that was used. And just a little bit of a waiting game right now with Alec Boehm. I don't want to see this Phillies team all of a sudden be forced to, in their definition, not mine, put Taijuan Walker back in the rotation. Let's hope that's not the case. So, Ranger Suarez, I hope you're fine and dandy. Like I said, I'm just going to keep locked in here to the old social media network and see if anything pops up during the postcast. So, when it comes to 3 big things, again, I look at the Phillies offense struggling mightily tonight. And then I look at the guy that caused them to struggle, and that was Reynaldo Lopez. And then I look at Ranger Suarez and whether or not he's going to be okay. As far as what the Braves did offensively tonight, I think you have a strong disdain for a player when he does really well, and you look at him and just be like, boy, he still sucks. And that's how I feel about Orlando Arcia. The 2 home runs he had tonight were good home runs, legit home runs. Good job by him. But God, he sucks. All right. Now that that's out of my system. When we come back, we'll take a look at a couple more of these things. And Bryson Stott swinging the bat well. JT Realmuto still coming around. Good to see those guys get on the board for the Phils there. And we'll talk about that and break it down when we come back a little bit later in the show. We'll take your comments to see where your head's at right now when it comes to this Philadelphia Phillies ball club and how you're feeling about where they are right now that they're only 5 games. They're back to only 5 games over the Braves. And we'll also look around the rest of the National League because not good news for the Phils and the standings tonight. This is Locked On Sports Philadelphia and the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe on Locked On Sports Philadelphia for each and every one of your Eagles, Phillies, and 76ers postcasts. That's right. Back in a few, your Locked On Sports Philadelphia and the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Liquid IV. When you're talking about America's pastime, you got to be hydrated. With Liquid IV's amazing flavors that you can check out for yourself on liquidiv.com. You can enjoy them all, especially Popsicle Firecracker flavor, a surefire summer hit. Get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients with the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. Because baseball and summer go together like Liquid IV and indulgent hydration. Find all your favorite flavors on their website, including lemon lime, pina colada, and the aforementioned Popsicle Firecracker flavor. Tear, pour, live more. 1 stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. Powered by Live, L-I-V, Hydra Science, an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, so don't waste your time with that. 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free. No more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order at liquidiv.com. That's liquidiv.com. When you go to liquidiv.com, get 20% off your first order and use promo code MLB at checkout. That's promo code MLB at checkout for 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. That's liquidiv.com. As I said at the start of the show, thank you for making Locked On Phillies POSTCAST your first listen every day. Make sure for your second listen, you tune in to Locked On MLB podcast with host Paul Sully Sullivan. He is here daily to provide national expertise with his trademark humor to help you get ready for MLB's postseason. And wants to get you through the dog days of summer. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it covered every single day on Locked On MLB, available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day on Locked On Sports and Locked On MLB podcast with Sully. Let's take a look at the Bryson Stott here for a second, because Bryson Stott, for the season, has been struggling. He and Bryce Harper are only multi-hit games. He and Bryce Harper combined for 5 of your 7 hits in the ball game tonight. Although he is only hitting a very modest 243 so far on the season, Bryson Stott has certainly seemed to have figured it out as of late. If you look at his last 2 weeks of the season, he has gotten his average up to 286 over those 2 weeks with an on-base percentage of 367, which is a lot more indicative of what we have seen in the brief career of Bryson Stott to this point. If you look at him coming into tonight, before he even had 2 hits in the ball game, he is hitting 364 over the last week with a 464 on-base percentage, including driving in a run, walking a couple of walks, getting on base that way, and only striking out 5 times in the last 7 days. That's the guy that we saw for the vast majority of last season before he hit an epic wall in the month of September. What I keep hoping for with Bryson Stott, what I keep crossing my fingers for, is one of the guys that just hasn't been able to figure it out all year, figures it out in crunch time at the end of August and goes into September and looks a heck of a lot more like the guy that we have seen for the majority of his career. Smart at bats, clutch at bats, gets down 0-2. Next thing you know, before you blink, it's a full count, and he's at 8 pitches, and then he beats the pitcher with a walk or a single up the middle. That's the Bryson Stott I believe is still very much within this Bryson Stott. And I believe that's the Bryson Stott we're going to see in the month of September. This is, I believe, the ramp-up period for Bryson Stott where he figures it out. And then the next thing you know, you get into September, and that's the guy you start to see who kind of waned last year. That's where he starts hitting his stride again. He's already started. It's a matter of continuing it into September. Now a 7-game hit streak for JT Realmuto. He's a guy that struggled to find his swing once he came back from the IL. He obviously had the huge game in Kansas City with the career-high 7 RBI night. Now he's just hitting home runs for you all of a sudden, which is great to see. That really is a great sign, obviously, that he's starting to find his swing. But if you could also depend on him in crunch time, Bryce Harper has started to hit as of late too. These are guys that obviously need to figure it out. And that's where you're going to have guys come up with those clutch hits with runners in scoring position that the Phillies have had their struggles. Hey, look, home runs are great, but you're going to get a lot of opportunities with this lineup to get guys on base and bring them around to score without the long ball. The Phillies can't continue to just rely on that. When you look at what happened last year, and they even showed the highlight of how great Nick Castellanos was in the NLDS and then in the NLCS, Nick Castellanos and the rest of this Phillies lineup dried up. And they dried up in close games where one hit could have made a huge difference, where one better managing of the bullpen would have gone miles in the Phillies' favor. These little things, this one guy getting hot at the right time, the bullpen being managed properly, all these little things, not relying on the home run, being able to play small ball. Johan Rojas, I don't look at Johan Rojas and say, like, bunt every time. But if you're going to lay down that bunt like you tried to tonight, you can't bunt it off your foot. Put it down the first baseline. Put it down the third baseline. I'd love to see him put it down the third baseline and then be able to bust it out and beat that throw out to first base because you know he could do it. And then all of a sudden, it's not a sack bunt anymore. It's an infield single. And instead of a runner on second with one out, first and second with nobody out. Let's party. All these little things can go the Phillies' way again. Tomorrow, we'll get into the matchup coming up in a second, but doesn't get much easier for the Phillies. Still one hell of a pitcher on the bump for the Braves tomorrow, but it's a guy that the Phillies, at least in the past, 2 out of 3 times this year, have at least cracked that code, unlike that other Lopez fellow that I've mentioned already. Also, when we come back, we'll get your takes on the game tonight as well, what you'd like to see the Phillies in the near future. Before I hit this next break, let me just look one more time to see if anything comes up regarding Ranger Suarez, because I am concerned about anything with Ranger. All right, here's Matt Gelb. I mean, this is during the game, so it's nothing breaking, but Matt Gelb of The Athletic put it out there saying Ranger lifted after 78 pitches, only 6 more than last start. Something to monitor. Oh, I'm monitoring, baby. I'm monitoring. And I'd like to know some good news before we end the show. We'll be back in a second. Locked On Sports Philadelphia and the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Your comments coming up, and also a preview of Game 3, the pitching matchup. See if the Phillies can jump back out to a series lead of 1 game. Back in a few. How about Prize Picks? America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. It's the easiest, most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. And unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you watch the winnings roll in. Get on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. I had Kyle Schwarber. I picked more than 2 strikeouts. He was at 2 strikeouts. So, womp, womp. Did not help my cause tonight. Thanks a lot. Couldn't even fail to help me out there, Kyle. Anyway, that's the way that went down tonight. Not good for me. But hopefully you guys had a lot of success when it came to Prize Picks and all they had going on tonight. So there you go. Oh, wait, no, I did win. It was only 2 strikeouts against Lopez. Aha! He had 3 strikeouts in total on the night, but 2 against Lopez. Ha-ha! Big winner tonight. Thanks, Prize Picks. All you got to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and let the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. You can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You could turn $10 into $1,000 just like that. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the 50 bonus bucks. It's guaranteed. Guaranteed winner. Download the Prize Picks app today and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the 50 bucks. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game with the great people of Prize Picks. All right, let's see what you guys have to say about this awful loss for the Phillies, falling 7-2 at the hands of the Atlanta Braves and now only being 5 games up again on the Bravos. I did mention before the break we would take a look around the rest of the National League. Teams that are trying to get up there with the Phils in terms of record and in terms of best record in baseball, in terms of best record in the National League. The Dodgers tonight are up. They just started out with the bottom of the first inning against the Diamondbacks in Arizona. The Dodgers are winning that game 2-1 in the very early goings. San Diego Padres are up 11-5 in the top of the 9th inning on the Rays. The Mets right now are leading the Chicago White Sox. Yeah, the White Sox, that AAA team that's in the majors right now. So that's fun. And as you know, the Braves won. The Brewers were the other team I wanted to. Good golly, Miss Molly. The Brewers tonight today, I should say, had a doubleheader. The last time I checked their night game of the doubleheader, they won the first game 5-4 in 10 innings. The night game, they won 14-0 over the Reds. So now the Brewers are at 79-56 on the season, while the Phillies are at 79-56 on the season. We're all having a great time, aren't we? This is fun. We're all having fun. Now, let's see what you guys have to say for yourself. KGB officer. By the way, KGB officer, I'm now noticing for the first time through all your comments, the first time I'm noticing that your avatar is a baby. Is the baby the KGB officer? Because if so, that is slick. Okay. Rob Thomson is a stupid man. Threw this game away. Pisses me off how he just throws these insanely important games away. If we don't make the World Series this year, you want Rob out of Philly. Is that you want Rob out of Philly? Or you're telling me I should want Rob out of Philly? Because there's not a whole lot, in all honesty, that I put on Rob Thomson this year. If I'm in the finger pointing game this year, it's Dave Dombrowski. Dave Dombrowski has had a terrible year. I mean, most recently, the whole way that they've handled Taijuan Walker is pathetic. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. That's the only word I could use that I think accurately describes. It's pathetic. It's so egregiously wrong that it's just absolutely pathetic, especially for a man that's accomplished as much as Dave Dombrowski has in his career. I think about the one big acquisition the Phillies made this offseason. Whit Merrifield? The guy who was cut? Okay. Yeah, not great. Not great. That was the big fingerprints from Dave Dombrowski in the offseason. Hey, look, don't get me wrong. Happy Zach Wheeler's still here. Happy that Aaron Nola signed his deal. Happy that Christopher Sanchez got his extension. I'm happy, blah, 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 all that stuff. But as far as like taking the team from last year and making them significantly better, not so much. Not so much. Carlos Estevez. All right. Tanner Banks. Meh. Austin Hayes. Meh. Still not in Austin Hayes. Morgan Landy. It's embarrassing when we're letting Arcia outscore us. Like he's a good baseball player. That is funny. Evelyn, what happened to Ranger? Struck on the first five batters, then crappy. IBH, what's going on? Really need old Ranger back. Absolutely do. Michael Evans, can't put it all on Ranger. Yet another game where there was no offense. Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing. 7 runs were scored. So, like, even on a decent offensive day, you're getting, 5 runs? So, like, your pitching gets taken for 7 runs. I'm not going to look at the offense as much. But, yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. But that's why, hey, the Phillies bats, their offense was number 3 for me. It was still on the list. One of the big 3 things. Frank, what's happening? Jekyll and Hyde with this Phillies offense. A little bit. Michael Evans, I feel like other teams really capitalize on mistakes over the plate. The Phillies, not so much. I agree, especially in this series. There was one particular, for instance, last night before Nick Castellanos hit the home run, I believe it was Holmes he was facing, threw him an inside fastball. He swung and missed it. It was right in his power zone, swung and missed it. Maybe a little too inside, which may be why he missed it, but it was right there. He missed it. Then Holmes was like, I could beat him again. Threw him another one, and Nick Castellanos was like, that was stupid. And then he hit the home run. But that was an example of mistake, taking advantage of that. Tonight, there were a couple of instances. Kyle Schwarber, for instance, the 2 of the curveballs that were out over the middle of the plate for him, or excuse me, the second curveball that was out over the middle of the plate for him that he missed. That was one that usually he'll jack out of the ballpark. That was against Johnson in the 7th inning. That would have been, that would have been a 2-run home run, made it a 7-4 game. Still. Rojas had a pitch he could bunt, and he missed it. If you're looking at that. Harper struck out on a 2-2 curveball away facing Lopez in the 6th inning. That was a mistake by Harper. Castellanos swung over top of fastball. I mean, there were some mistakes that were made, but the Phillies aren't picking the ball up, especially Kyle Schwarber. Not picking the ball up out of Lopez's hand. Like, I'm almost expecting Kyle Schwarber to go up against Lopez the next time he has to face him and almost just be like Bryce Harper against Holmy Milner. Was it last year? Where he's just like holding the bat. Like, I have no idea where the ball's even coming from, but You throw it, and I'll be here. Hopefully it hits me and I get on base. Or hopefully you throw 4 pitches all outside the zone because I have no idea where the ball is. That's the next step down from where Kyle Schwarber is right now is just him at the plate. Like, I have no idea what's happening. You just throw it, and hopefully there's 4 balls in there somewhere. That's what it feels like. Pat, thank you, though. Jordan, what's going on? Jordan Coughlin, what's going on? I'm taking my kids to the game tomorrow, so better hit and get it done. Yeah. There you go. Timothy B. Farzetta. These guys are just too consistent, especially the top of the lineup. The 30-year-old, and up top 3 look cooked. I don't even know who the 30-year-old is. Who's the 30-year-old? I don't know. Anyway, Matt Forrester. I mean, look, they just haven't been good. Mark S., what's worse, pitching or hitting? Consistency? Like, consistently, what's worse? I think your offense is worse more consistently than your pitching. Like, pitching, I normally feel good about at least 3 of the 5 guys in the rotation, quote unquote. Hitting wise, like, you got to rely on one guy blowing it up, maybe 2, like Nick Castellanos and Brandon Marsh last night. But other than that, ugh. And also with the offense, Bryce Harper isn't hitting the long ball. I don't even know. How long has it been since Bryce Harper's last home run? It's been a while. 3 hits for him tonight, though. Let's see. Holy pots and pans. The 9th of August. Harper's hitting 292 this month with a 364 on base percentage, not including his 3 hits tonight, so he's over 300 now. Not a home run since August 9th. Yeah, I knew it had been a minute. Schwarber, a deer in headlights, says Graham Francis. I concur. Regal Eagle, great name. Will the real Kyle Schwarber please step back on the diamond soon? It's been a while for him since he hit a home run, as a matter of fact. So it's since the 9th with Bryce Harper. It feels like a very long... And Schwarber was hot in the beginning of August, hitting bombs. Average down to 240 on the season, still sitting at 28 home runs. Schwarber's 31, if we're still thinking about people's age. The 14th. You've gone 2 weeks without a home run. More than 2 weeks without a home run from both Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper. Jeez! Schwarber had the 3-homer game against the Dodgers. He had 6 home runs in the first week of August. 7 home runs in the first... 5 home runs in the first week of August. There you go. That makes more sense. Then he hit one on the 14th. He hasn't hit one since. Yeah, that's pretty terrible. DJ Shire? As a Braves fan, I ain't here to gloat as you all might win the next 2 games. At the very least, I'm happy it won't be a sweep for us. Good luck out there. When you say a sweep for us, do you mean like, oh, you guys won't get swept? Okay, this is the type of modesty that will live rent-free. I will wake up at 3 a.m. thinking of DJ Shire's comment, being like, how dare he? How dare he? Simply because I feel like the Braves are a really good baseball team, even though everyone's hurt. Pitching staff looks pretty damn good. Oh, man. Like, modesty, when you think someone really does have your number, like I think the Braves just have the Phillies number. Look, I said going into it, I just need the Phillies to win the series. Splitting the series will obviously be okay, but it doesn't put me in the right headspace going into the postseason. KGB officer Farzy, you should bat cleanup. Nobody wants that. Timothy B. Farzetta, Schwarber, Turner, and Harper are all in their 30s. Yes, they're they are in their 30s. Yeah. I was like, who is 30? All right. Thanks everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful as per usual. One last check. Nobody is putting anything up here regarding Ranger Suarez, so I'm going to hope that he's okay, question mark. All right, here's what's going on. Oh, Grant Francis, cue the Jaws music. The Braves are circling us. Dun 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 dun. We're gonna need a bigger cleanup hitter. Anyway, don't put the quarter in my silly machine. Okay, here we go. All right, tomorrow, Phillies and Braves back at it. Max Fried gets the start against Zach Wheeler. That's the way that one goes down tomorrow night. That'll be all sorts of exciting, all sorts of fun. Hoping the Phillies can bounce back in front of a national audience, by the way. How about that? Fox has got the game. 7:15. The lefty Max Fried goes up against Zach Wheeler. Fried, as I mentioned, in 2 previous starts against the Phillies, did not fare well. And then he started again against the Phillies for a 3rd time. And that was back on the 21st of August. He went 7 innings, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits. Cool. So the Phillies got him tomorrow. Zach Wheeler gets the ball, as I mentioned, for the Phillies. He's 12-6 on the season with a 2.74 ERA. Still fighting it out to try to get a National League Cy Young Award. He is coming off a 6-inning, 2-run performance against the Astros. He has really been just fantastic over his over a long period now. Since that 7-run performance against the New York Yankees back on the 29th of July, he has gone out against the Mariners, Diamondbacks, Nationals, Braves, and Houston Astros. And in none of those starts did he allow more than 2 runs in any of those starts, and he's gone at least 6 innings in all of those starts. However, unfortunately, he only has 2 wins to show for it. The start he had against Atlanta, where he went 6 innings, allowing 2 runs on 6 hits, including a home run, and struck out 8. The Phillies lost that game 3-1. Not cool, dude. Yeah. He faced Reynaldo Lopez last time. So that's what the Phillies got going on for tomorrow night's game, 7:15 in South Philly. Phillies look to take a 2-1 advantage in this series and go back up 6 games in the division overall. Nationally televised game. Now, for a programming note, just to let you guys know, I will not be at the carport tomorrow, but I will be out of the studio tomorrow, probably in my, stay with me, cousin-in-law's office in Virginia. Little family get-together for Labor Day weekend. If it wasn't the Braves, if it was literally any other team, I'd just be like, I'm taking the time off. See you later, deuces. But can't do that. Can't do it in a Braves series. You know what I mean? Don't leave you guys hanging. You know what I mean? I want to hang out with you. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on Locked On Sports Philadelphia. That's Locked On Sports Philadelphia. Like and subscribe on Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. My name's Mark Farzetta. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. Back with you guys tomorrow night, live from Virginia. See you guys then. Bye.